You're watching the West Coast Logging Channel. Come on inside and get some logs, that is.
Well, just about done here with this job. Got 2 loads to clean up Monday morning. Tomorrow, today's Sunday. And then Lowboy's scheduled to be here mid-morning. Should be here right about the time I get done with the second load. Put Monica on the low bed and head for the next job, and then that truck can just dump at the mill and head right for the next one. And I thought I'd come over here and get a little more footage of this. I got some more that first day I was here, but scatterbrained as I am, I erased it. Look at that. The stories this thing could tell. Just the time, you know. I'm not saying anything spectacular ever happened or it ever did anything so great, which I'm sure it did. Just the time period is so... This thing is so cool. Absolutely would love get something like that, rebuild it. And I'm actually I've got a story time for you guys about an old cable blade Caterpillar D8. Wasn't quite this old. It didn't have the round cage there, or I suppose it could have been modified afterwards or whatnot. It did have the pony motor, so I suppose it could have been this old. It just had an updated wouldn't that be cool to cut that off, clean it up, have it on your wall? That would be really, really cool. Anyways, I was tending hook for a guy on a 155 Thunderbird swing yada. And decent little yarder. They're fast. Fast rig ups, fast tear downs. You know, they move fast, but they're just a 3/4 inch machine, so gosh, look how cool that is. Wow. Anyways, 3/4 inch running haul back on it. Had an MSP carriage. It was actually my first hooking job. It was that place, and it was 3 or 4 units into it. You guys bouncing here. We moved to this job, and it was it wasn't steep, you know. It just sloped off and then went out into a farmer's field just like this. So there was absolutely no way to get lift, because you know, it kind of rolled off like that. So where the last stump for the last tree would have been, I wouldn't have got any lift. I had to go out in that field to get lift. Well, the field was not the same person that owned the timber, so the boss had to go over there and smooth up to him. And the guy was like, yeah, I don't, you know, I think he paid him $100 a tail halt is what we'd, you know, $100 a move or something like that. We might have given him $500, but the guy wanted us to use his cat, and I'm not sure why. I think because we didn't actually have one, so I think the boss actually asked him, and that's what he was paying for, was the use of the cat, really. And it was a cable blade. So it's chilly this morning. It's really chilly. I had to come up and just get things organized and ready, so I don't have to do so much, oh come on, jimmy jacking around when that truck gets here Monday. Anyway, so it was just me and another guy on the rigging, and for years I called him a kid, and he was older than me, but he had just started logging not too much before. It was actually, this place was his first logging job. So anyways, hell of a hand. God dang, he was a hell of a hand. Strong as an ox too. So we would just log the road out, and then I'd go down and get on the cat and just move the cat over, and then go back to logging. I'd spread my guy line so that I could get 2 or 3 roads out of it. And then when I would get out of my guy line range, then I would move the yarder, leave the cat where it was at, move the yarder, put the guy lines out again, and then log that road, and then move the cat, so that, trying to save time just being the 2 of us. Well, I put the blade down. I want to say I was messing around, and somehow I got a cat's ass on the cable blade, the drum. And so I was letting it go and trying to catch it and try to take the cat's ass out. Well, it wouldn't go down far enough because it would hit the ground. So I went up to where there was it wasn't really a creek, but water ran through it, so that the blade would drop farther, and it was going to try to get this cat's ass out. So I pull up there, and I hit free spool, and it starts wheeling off there, and I go to catch it. Well, that's where I screwed up. I should have just let it go ahead and fall and hit the ground, because when I caught it, it broke the line, and I was like, oh no, because I think that was one of the stipulations, don't break anything. Anyway, so I just spun it around backwards and just backed up to where my next spot was going to be, and parked it. I didn't say anything to anybody. Well, it was I don't remember if it was a Friday night, or anyways, I went to the local tool shop that night or that weekend and got myself a 5-ton chain come along, and I was going to chain the blade up and then try to come up with a piece of line and not have to tell anybody anything about it. So I hooked the key, and oh my God, I couldn't pick it up. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? So I back up again, and I get to a little creek, so when I back down into it, it lifts the blade. So I grab and I get it tight, and I back up to go to the next spot. Well, as soon as the blade comes off the ground, this 5-ton chain come along, goes, I'm like, oh my God, this is it's a 5-ton come along. And this blade is heavy enough that it just went through the guts of it. It didn't break the chain, it just broke the guts of it. So then I had to say something. Well, my dad had come to work by then, was running yarder, so I asked my dad, I was like, what the hell should I do? So my dad, we cut the drop line off because we needed to put an eye in it anyways. And he was pretty close to the amount of line that I needed. And he went out with me on a Sunday, and we knocked the little, because instead of having a nub or something, it's like a box, and you put the line through in a loop like this, and then it's a tapered wedge, and you put it in and you tap it down, and that's what holds the line in. Anyways, we had a heck of a time. It took us like a half a day to beat those wedges out, pull the line off, put the new on. So basically I was screwing around, and when I shouldn't have been, and I got caught doing it. So the moral or the lesson in today's story time is do as I say, not as I do. Stay safe, friends. Get lost.